Good morning, NJECC attendees. Today, myself, Douglas Bailey, and Leticia Romero will present to you an EdTech tool that will be extremely helpful for those that teach social studies. The name of this EdTech tool is Mission-US.
Hello, everybody. This is Project 3 for Intro to EdTech, presented by Douglas Bailey and Leticia Romero. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Mission-US, which is an interactive way to learn and teach history. Essentially, Mission-US is a website that hosts 6 different interactive role-playing reenactments. It's an interactive guide through history, and it basically provides students an opportunity to reenact historical events by playing the roles of one main character in which they will navigate through these different time periods and make decisions based on historic happenings. Mission-US covers the American Revolution, the antebellum era, westward expansion, the immigrant experience, the Great Depression, World War II. So your students or the teacher can choose any of these 6 interactive games to use to help to educate and enlighten students. One of the main questions that I have to answer as a social studies teacher every cohort is, how do we capture learners' attention when teaching history? Well, in my experience, connecting history to relevancy in our learners' lives is extremely important. There are emotions we can all relate to, regardless of our differences. We can all relate to certain things, regardless of gender, race, financial background, where you grew up at. Hey, independence and liberty is something that should make a connection with everybody and anybody. Freedom and rights, that's something that America is built on. Responsibility and fairness, liberty and citizenship, security and opportunity. And then with World War II, when it came to the unfortunate internment of our fellow Japanese Americans, we're talking about respect and justice. These 6 compelling American stories on Mission-US all have relatable ideas that learners can understand and empathize with as they stand in the characters' shoes. And to the right-hand side, you see the main characters that students will be able to choose from as they're navigating through these historical reenactments. So what is this? How can Mission-US help me transform learning in my classroom? Well, according to the Mission-US website, Mission-US is an award-winning educational media project that immerses young people in transformational moments from US history. My particular thoughts are that Mission-US provides learners with an interactive choose-your-own-path experience. It is a great introduction to sensitive topics in American history. It is best used with middle school students and even high school students as well. I have used this in my program at New Jersey Youth Corps. Mission-US puts learners in the shoes of fictional characters with real-life situations they would encompass. For instance, the natives who walked the Trail of Tears, or a family struggling to make ends meet during the Great Depression. Now, is this just a game? What kinds of resources does Mission-US provide for teachers? This is not a typical video game where you can win or lose. It is more education than entertainment and should be utilized with a certain sensitivity, especially regarding topics like slavery or internment. Learners make decisions with their character based on historical context, but there are no right or wrong choices. Mission-US has a plethora of lesson plans that cover pre and post sessions for teachers. For example, the classroom guide, the one that you see to the right, it covers vocabulary acquisition and critical thinking questions to share with your class. For instance, in the newest Mission-US offering, Prison in My Homeland, which focuses on the tragic Japanese American internment, students play the role of Henry during the World War II period. The year is 1941. You are 16-year-old Henry Tanaka. When the government forces you and 120,000 other innocent Japanese Americans into camps, how will you react? So that bottom part, that last part that's not bolded, comes from the Mission-US website. So if you look to the right, that there is young Henry Tanaka, and he's going to have to make some tough decisions as he navigates through a situation in which his family is placed into these internment camps. When you're becoming emotionally invested within these characters, it definitely puts you in their shoes, and it helps you to understand, some of the things that have happened in our country. And it gives you a better perspective of how these people might have felt during that period of time. Each interactive game comes with mission guides that will have a link to the mission, overview information in terms of the actual story, the fictional story of the character that you're going to play, historical background, which focuses on the facts of that particular situation, what was happening during 1941 during World War II, classroom activities, which include quizzes, critical thinking questions, classroom videos where students will be able to watch some of these reenactments, and then primary sources and resources where you will be able to see where all of this information came from. As an instructor, that is very important. And then from there, what's great about the primary sources is that you can share those sources with students for them to go ahead and do additional research on their own. And that's what I like most about Mission US. It's like, it's an introduction to those sensitive topics, and it's just that. It's an introduction. So in terms of how that correlates to the game, if you're playing the Up From the Dust game that focuses on the 1929 Great Depression, the primary sources that are provided will give our students real-world insight to what was happening during that particular time. Are these resources free, and how can I access them? Well, Mission US is a free resource. It can be accessed using their website. Students that don't have access to the internet at home can download the game at school, save it on a flash drive, and utilize it offline. That's great. As long as they have a laptop or a desktop, they could still participate even without the internet or Wi-Fi. The website itself is very user-friendly and organized. And if you look there on the bottom, they have those three categories. You want to play, you click play. You want to teach. If you're the teacher, you're going to click teach, and they're going to give you those mission guides that we just spoke about. And the about section basically goes into who is behind the development of these games. What instructors did they pull for them to develop the content? So that's also very useful on the teaching aspect, because you can see who are the people that put this together. Something that's also, an unfortunate thing that we're dealing with right now in our country is anti-Asian racism. So Mission US is updated to the day, and it gives us all of these different tools that we can use to explain to our students exactly what is happening in our world and how we can make these things better. So how is this applicable in a social studies classroom? Well, first and foremost, it focuses on the core aspects of what I teach in social studies, and what everybody, I would assume, teaches in social studies: history, geography, civics, and economics. Each game touches on each one of those core aspects. Is this for individual students, or could it be used in a group setting? Well, the great thing about this media resource is that it can be played in school, out of school, remotely, with the group, individually, in a pair, independently, like however you want to assign the Mission US interactive games, you will be able to do so. It is also definitely recommended that teachers play through the mission before introducing it to their class, just because there are going to be those sensitive topics that you want to prepare yourself for. And one thing that I know that Mission US does is that it prompts questions from our students. So you want to be able to answer those hard questions that come your way. But the great thing about Mission US, on their easy to navigate website, instructors will receive a teaching guide. So we saw what some of those things incorporated on the last slide, but the good thing about the teaching guide is that it has those lists of questions that you could expect for your students to ask, and it gives you a way to answer those questions. The great thing about Mission US is that it is very customizable. So there are 3 levels of engagement: low, medium, and high, in regards to how much time you want to spend on each mission. So playing straight through one game will take about 2 hours. That's just the game by itself. But when adding all the helpful resources that they provide for teachers, a full lesson can stretch for as long as a week. So it's up to you as the instructor to decide how much or how little you want to give your students in terms of engagement with this application. Now, here are some additional notes and a couple outside reviews. There was some controversy surrounding one of the games in Mission US. That was Fight to Freedom, which takes place during the antebellum era. Some critics feel as if the game aspect trivializes the plight of enslaved African Americans in the United States. Now, as an African American myself, I can see where this could be problematic. It needs to be thoroughly explained to students that this is a first-person immersion versus a game they would play on their PS4. So you want to leave words like fun out of Mission US Fight to Freedom, because there's nothing fun about slavery. There's nothing fun about being an enslaved person. So teachers need to be culturally aware and sensitive to this project while introducing and presenting background information. It certainly can be done, but it needs to be done in an informative, respectful, and a serious tone. So I would say Fight to Freedom, as well as the Japanese internment, and even the Native Americans Trail of Tears, those are sensitive topics. So you just want to make sure that you're culturally aware of how to approach it and how to present it to your students. But overall, this project is visually stimulating. Beautiful animation, accurate historical content, an exhilarating soundtrack, plus outstanding voiceover work. I would certainly recommend Mission US to any social studies instructor, particularly one who works with middle school children, or, like I said, it could work for freshmen in high school, sophomores in high school that maybe don't have the background in terms of history that they should have. You can use this as sort of an introduction with the hopes that Mission US is a supplement to more meatier content. And when I say meatier, I mean in terms of the rawness of the historical content, right? Because when you're playing in a role-playing simulation, and of course the way that this was designed, it's not the harshest aspects of these different historical time periods that we went through in our country. It should be used as a supplement to other teachings that you're going to go through in social studies. So here are some quick reviews that we pulled from the commonsense.org website. This is a great individual teaching tool for history. Students are able to explore while receiving vocabulary and content. However, I believe this teaching tool should be coupled with instruction and evaluation to ensure that enough content is delivered. That's from Stacy P. And then the second review that we're looking at is, this is great as a supplement, as I already said. It is a game, so of course the kids are going to look for shortcuts and for ways to game it by skipping the text and the like. But if you use all the included materials and really dive into it, it seems like these pitfalls or those pitfalls could be addressed. But if you use all the included materials and really dive into it, it seems like those pitfalls could be addressed. That's from Josh W. And once again, I agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. Students do try to skip around, but once again, this project, whether you're playing Fight to Freedom or you're getting into how the Revolutionary War started, you definitely want to make sure that there is the seriousness presented with Mission US. You want the students to learn, but we want this material to be taken very seriously. So I'm going to pass the ball to my colleague, Miss Leticia Romero. Thank you for your time, everybody.
You have learned so much about Mission US so far. But as educators, we always want to ensure that we are doing the best teaching practices in our classrooms. We want to make sure that our learners and their families know that we are doing the best practices. The great thing about Mission US is that it connects with two different learning theories. The first learning theory is constructivism. In a constructivist classroom, the teacher is the facilitator and is mentoring the learners, while the learners are the ones that are in charge of what they learn. Using Mission US and their games, the teacher can do just that. They can help their learners by giving them the directions, but the student ultimately is driving the car. They get to choose if they're going left or right. They get to choose if they're stopping or going, and how long they stop and go for. So as you can see, if you were trying to keep your classroom in a constructivist way, this can be used. Another learning theory that aligns with Mission US is Connectivism. In Connectivism, it calls for students to have a concrete experience, and this game gives them just that. History is over, and it has happened already. So we cannot go back in time. We're not time travelers. But using a game like an historical game that Mission US has, we have that opportunity to give our students a concrete experience. They have something that they can connect with. They can connect it to their life now. When they hear the time period or the event in history, they can connect to this game. So it truly is an invaluable game for them to play. They're not only having fun, but they're learning at the same time, which is always what us educators want our learners to be able to do. So by this time, you're probably asking yourself, how can I integrate Mission US into my classroom? Not only does Mission US have historical educational games, they also are paired with essential questions, documents for document-based activity, and writing prompts. Because of this, it transforms learning and fulfills modification and redefinition as defined by SAMAR. So, SAMAR defines modification as a technology that allows for significant task redesign. So many history teachers do document-based activities with their learners. But with SAMAR, not only do they have the documents, but they're also seeing some of these events unfold and have the documents. So they're able to redesign how you would normally do a document-based activity by not only reading documents, but by playing a game and reading the documents, allowing students to further understand the documents in the first place. Then it also satisfies the redefinition, and it's allowing for the creation of a new task previously inconceivable. So students can create their own outcome from the game. They can stop you could stop them in the middle of the game and have them write the ending to the story. They would not be able to do this without using technology. So it really assists with that modification of learning. It also connects with Iste Standards. So you have the empowered learner, sections 1B and 1C, and knowledge constructor 3D. So Iste Standards 1B for the empowered learner is that students are able to build networks and customize their learning environments in ways that support the learning process. So students are customizing their learning by being able to pick what happens in their game, being able to pick their route. They're also, for 1C, students use technology to seek feedback that informs and improves their practice and to demonstrate their learning in a variety of ways. So students can, after they're done playing the game, you can give them multiple activities to use to demonstrate what they learned. In addition to that, it satisfies the 3D section for knowledge constructor. Students build knowledge by actively exploring real-world issues and problems, developing ideas and theories, and pursuing answers and solutions. So students, by playing this game, can, one, explore these real-world events that actually happened, but they can also create theories and get answers to why are these things happening? Why did this event happen? How can we fix it? How can we stop it from happening again? So as you can see, Mission US is not only just a fun game for your students to play, but there are multiple ways to integrate it into your classroom and connect it to learning standards such as Iste and Samar. To sum everything up, Mission US is an educational platform that fosters learning by exploring and interacting. It can be used for in-person instruction, remote instruction, and high flex. Due to its nature of being an online technology, students can work in your classroom on this, they can work from home on this, or if you have a combination of both, it fits well with that as well. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Have a great day.